Hey there everybody, it's Rev Kev here. I just wanted to make a quick video and give you a little lift in your leadership, wherever that leadership might be. And this is really coming out of, and this is going to sound really geeky, but this is coming out of my love for Superman comic books. So out of Superman comic books, particularly out of the issues, the new storylines that are being written by Brian Michael Bendis, there's a really great principle at play here, and I want to show you this leadership principle that I think he has just nailed in his stories of Superman. But before I kind of tell you what that thing is, I just need to prove to you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, my level of understanding of Superman, so that you can really see how this plays out, how this leader lifter here comes out of the pages of Superman, and it comes out of my understanding of the character. So let's just go on a quick little journey here before I give you the leader lifter. Okay, so first off, I'm going to be 48 years old. So I have been a fan of Superman since Christopher Reeve's movie, Superman the movie, that came out in 1978. But though I loved the Superman movie, I never got into Superman comic books until this came out. This Man of Steel miniseries written by my all-time favorite author, comic book writer, and comic book artist, John Byrne. Very famous for all of his work in like X-Men and Fantastic Four. And when he made the switch over to DC, and I picked up this thing, man, when did this come out? This must have came out, what, like 1986? Yeah, 1986. This, for me, is the definitive Superman. Like, he came out with so many incredible characters and just a whole new feel for Superman, Lois Lane, the supporting cast. You know, it was just amazing. He came out with amazing stuff, amazing characters that are still in use today. People like Cat Grant that we see in the new Supergirl TV show. The whole picture of Lex Luthor being a businessman, right? Like, no, he was always like this mad scientist. He came up with this, no, let's make him a rich businessman. And that played out all throughout Smallville and so many other different versions of Superman. So since 1986, that is when I started buying Superman comic books. So let me just show you a quick collection that I have, just so you can get a grasp of my understanding of this character based on how long I've been collecting these comic books. Yeah, just to show everybody, this is my Superman collection here. So completely full, all 6 of these boxes from the time I started collecting at John Byrne's Man of Steel, between the gap that I've already talked about to today. And yes, you'll see that this is the furnace room. So this is where I kind of keep my comic books now. Cleared out an area for them. I've really been liquidating my collection and just now keeping the Superman here, you know. But one of these days, maybe I'll show you all those bins, because that's all my original Star Wars toys from the time I was a kid. So, and Optimus Prime guards all of it. So all of those boxes of comic books, I have every single issue of Superman comic books from 1986 all the way up until about 2001. I remember one quick story when I picked up The Death of Superman. This came out, my local comic book shop had a lineup of people trying to get in that Saturday morning to buy this. I bypassed the line. He gave me like 5 copies of it at cover price, while he was charging everyone else $50 to get their copies. So he knew me. He knew what I bought. He kept them aside, ready for me. And I opened one of them because I had to wear the armband to work. So every issue, all the way until I got everything, until I got married and a bunch of kids. And Superman, the art and the story was just getting bad, so I stopped. So like I said, you know, I tried and I tried and I tried and I tried and I tried to stick it out. I call these the dark days. I call it the mullet days, when Superman was just, it was terrible. And I just think like comic books were terrible kind of in that season. And the art was horrible. The stories were pathetic. And you know what? I just had other things going on in life. Family, kids, you know, leadership, changing careers. And it was like, yeah, I'm going to spend my money on something else. So I left. But I came back, and I came back when this came out. So what got me to come back was this, Justice League New 52. I don't know why. I think maybe I was going through an early midlife crisis where I just needed to reconnect to some things from my youth that I liked. You know, kids are getting older, kind of settling into life here in our city, and so I picked this up. Loved it. Absolutely love this. Jim Lee's art kind of was incredible. Jeff Johns' story, incredible. And I went crazy. Started buying everything. Started buying, and I've never bought Batman. I don't like Batman. I started buying Batman. I've never read Green Lantern. I started reading Green Lantern. I even picked up all the issues of New 52 of Aquaman. Loved Aquaman. It was incredible. Flash, awesome. Everything about this was great. So I loved everyone. So I figured I'm a Superman guy. I'm going to get back into Superman. So I grab Action Comics #1, and I dive back into Superman. And, well, I like what they were doing in Action Comics. I like the whole Superman in a t-shirt and jeans. That kind of, let's go back old school. He can't fly. He can only leap over tall buildings. I was like, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be so much fun. Well, they scrapped that within, like, the first story arc. And then they go back and they bring in this kind of Superman more... Not Superman. He's like more Kryptonian. Ma and Pa Kent are dead. There's none of the main characters that I remembered. And maybe I'm old, but I just didn't connect with this guy. So I stuck it out for a couple of years and then gave up again. Until they killed him. And when I heard that they were killing this Superman, because I think they realized this wasn't working, they killed this Superman. So I got back into it. I was kind of okay with the way this guy died. The story of it was pretty good. Again, art was pretty decent because they seemed like they had turned things around with the New 52. But I didn't really, I kind of stopped collecting everything else. I didn't want to start comic collecting. I liked Superman. I wanted Superman. And I just kind of disappeared after this. And again, and it wasn't until I grabbed DC Universe Rebirth. Heard about it, kind of followed different people online about it. Quickly grabbed it. Thought, okay. They seem to they're getting rid of this whole dark and gritty Chris Nolan Batman has to affect every superhero. Gave it a good reason why, and actually started bringing back kind of this lighthearted, good Boy Scout Superman that I love. So figured, yeah, we'll give this a shot. But I didn't. I didn't pick up a single issue of Superman DC Universe Rebirth. And I honestly probably regret doing that. And I'm going to try and find them all on back issue. Hopefully they're not too crazy in price. So if you know of anyone who's got these, lots, send me a private message and ping me or leave a comment below. I'd love to know who could help me get set up on some Superman DC Universe Rebirth. But I did dive back in, like I said, when I heard about... Brian Michael Bendis making the switch over, because I actually really loved his run on the Avengers over at Marvel. So I figured I'd jump in and dive in. And so his first miniseries I thought was brilliant. To call it The Man of Steel, to tie back in to the original 1986 John Byrne's series. And his current run, I'm really enjoying. I'm kind of enjoying the family feel of the Superman series and kind of the more action-oriented Action Comics series. So there's some really good stuff, I think, going on, and I'm really enjoying it. Now, I've read online some people are not enjoying it as much. I'm enjoying it. I think the art is beautiful. I think the stories are good, and I think he hits the character of Superman really well, particularly in this one area, and this is my leader lifter point for today. Okay, all that said is just really so I can get back to the point here. It's to talk about this leadership principle that I was reminded of by Brian Michael Bendis's Superman. And this is it. And let me just show you where this is, and this is how I am reminded of this leadership principle. So this is where I think he nails it. Like, this is where I think he nails the character of Superman, right? Whenever, like, there's big dialogue going on, Superman's kind of meeting up with Martian Manhunter, boom, 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 kind of having a little dialogue here. Hey, hold that thought. Boom, switch it over. First we got Bobcat Goldthwait. When did he start looking like James McDonald? Anyway, if you don't know who James McDonald is, Google it. But, hold that thought. Boom, goes, kick some butt. Love it. Beautiful art. Oh, man, I love this stuff. And then, boom, go back to the conversation. Dialogue. Oh, hey, wait a minute. Hold that thought. And what does he do? Boom, goes, kicks some more butt. Love it. Then comes back, continues conversation. Hey, wait a minute. Hold that thought. Boom, kick some butt. Again, save the day. Man, I love this. I think he totally nails the character of Superman in this simple little dialogue, just like this. But here it is. This is the principle. This is the leadership principle I want to get at. And this is what I want to drive. Is what I love about this. What Superman, what Brian Michael Bendis' Superman reminds me of is do for the one what you wish you could do for the many. You know, whatever your leadership role is, whether it's just in your family, you know what, whether it's in your community, whether it's a volunteer organization, whether it's in your business, whether it's in your church, doesn't matter where it is. We are all leaders in some kind of way. We're all influencing people. And so, you know what, do for the one what you wish you could do for the many, right? Here you got Superman. He can do anything, right? He's total godlike powers, can go anywhere, can do anything, can be constantly saving the day, but he's got life to live, right? And he can't save everybody, can't save everyone, and he seems to be at peace with that. But he picks and he goes and he does what he can do for the one that he wishes he could do for the many, right? Like I hear this all the time. It's like, well, you know, we can't end world hunger, so I'm not going to do anything. Well, you know what? You're right. You can't end world hunger, but you know what? You could feed one family. You know, you can't get rid of child poverty in the world, but you could sponsor one child, right? Or what about even in your own neighborhood, right? Oh, we can't even handle poverty in my own city, let alone world poverty. Well, you know what? I can volunteer a few hours a week to help one family. You know, like it's just such a simple leadership principle. What about in like in my case, you know, where I lead a church? Man, I wish I could buy every staff member a brand new laptop and all new equipment and all the top of the state-of-the-art stuff so they could do their jobs better. But I can't, right? There's budgets and limitations and things like that. But because I can't do it for everyone doesn't mean I can't do it for someone, right? So I always try to make sure in my leadership that I do for the one that I wish I could do for the many. And guess what? That spreads. That just blesses so many people. Other people catch that idea and they start doing that wherever they can. And they start doing for the one what they wish they could do for the many. And that has a huge impact. But that's the point I wanted to make, that do for one that you wish you could do for others. And guess what? That spreads and that's contagious. And that type of leadership really lifts up other people. So I would really encourage you to do for the one that you wish you could do for the many, just like Superman does in these issues written by Brian Michael Bendis. So keep up the awesome work, Brian Michael Bendis. I am loving what you're doing with Superman so far. Keep it up. Loving the stories, loving the artwork. And for the rest of us, I hope this was a great leader lifter. And take care, and we'll talk to you soon.